Hello and most welcome to our tryout at the Alexander technique number 9. Together with me is the participant Kalle Lundahl. Thank you for joining. We will see if he can sort of align his body even a bit more. He made tremendous progress since last. It has now gone, I'd say, a month.
3 weeks.
We'll see what happened during this period. And what we looked at last, if you can come and stand in profile in front of the camera. So you're in the profile here. Turn 90 degrees left or right. There you prefer perfectly. So I'd say that it's a bit better alignment of the head than earlier. See if we can get that nice balance. It's like a little bit like carrying an egg on a needle. It's a very fine-tuned balance. Any thought can upset this balance. Now the head is more straight and this is less of an adjustment than I did last. So he's remembering, his body is remembering, his soul is remembering, because what we're actually treating is the soul. The body is not a vessel for the soul like Hillary Putnam thinks. It is the soul. And think freedom and happiness and joy. Off goes the seriousness. Yes. And we have this very, very gallant balance with the head on top of the spine, the atlanto-occipital joint, which is here, just where the skull ends, and it goes under the ear here. We have this very, very fine balance here. The more we can uphold that, the clearer the thinking will be. Herein lies the connective tissue between thinking and action. Think lengthening over the back, widening over the shoulders. And on a daily activity, I will ask you to try standing. This is also the first movement in the yoga asana, the mountain movement, the mountain position. And you should hold your feet maybe a bit wider so you have them shoulder width. And let's see if we could flex the joints a bit here. And like that. Very good. Bend there and go down a bit. Yeah, very good. And there we have almost a monkey. This is the going down part of every asana, which is a movement down. And in this, keep the freedom. Think freedom. Now you're frowning with your head. That means that some tension has come in. So freedom, joy, humor, all those things. Any trick is allowed. Any trick to make the body be more expansive, taking more room. That's much better. Very good, Kalle. Now you're expanding. And let me see, your hands are now easier to move about. This is not your dominant arm, but still there is much more freedom than I saw last time. Let's see here. Yeah, that's great. This is very good. It's just fantastic. So this monkey you can train with by putting your hands on the chair. I'll do it for you. Just let me do it for you. This is learning you this joint, which plays such a crucial role in every asana and movement as it is. We did before this video showed how by using the monkey you can come to a natural way of sitting almost directly without having to adjust. So do the monkey first, adjust the chair before, and then you sit down and you will already be in a balanced position. You can take that movement with you now when I lead you into the asana. Continue with the widening, it's very great. Have you been practicing this at home?
A little bit, not the monkey, a donkey, but
Yeah, because there's a great progress here.
monkey.
So you have done something good, anything, it's very obvious. And keeping this freedom is part of the trick. That's good, very good. So it's a very fine balance there to uphold. And every thought which is slightly negative or monosemic, if you like, it will throw you off the balance. It will make you stiff-necked. I think that saying in the Bible is so apt, how we shut everything out. And we become left hemispheric and we cannot feel the spiritual life, for instance. Which this is a most important part. It's all in the body. That is where the soul resides. Otherwise it will be a transcendental doing. A rather fun t-shirt as well. This is what we need. We need humor. I will take you out of the monkey here. Just lift you up. You think up, up, up. You can take, very good. Take the hands away. Now, when you do the surya, you repeat this monkey thing. Because when bending in the surya, it is here. This is the place you should bend, not here. And the more you train this monkey and other thing, the more you will understand this joint. And it's connected to the freedom in the neck as well. The freedom in the neck can only be made by thinking correctly. It needs to be healthy thinking. Healthy thinking is positive, it's ambiguous, it's taking in the outside. If your thinking is not healthy, wholesome, positive, it will result in stiff neck. So it's very hard to say which is the chicken or what is the egg. Does it start with a stiff neck or does it start with this monosemic thinking? It doesn't really matter where it begins, but it can be treated both ways. Both by thinking of freedom and thinking in this more encompassing way. As you know by now, but for the audience, the left hemisphere thinking leads to stiffness. It is stiffness itself. It's a predisposed attitude. And in philosophy, we say it's an a priori grammar or a priori classical physical laws, whatever. But you get the drift. It's the idea that anything that happens to have a regular pattern to it before it happens, which makes you stiff, robot-like. Think a bit more like the Pfeifferian robots. They are soft and nice and movable. So this is the thinking that you should put in your mind. That is very helpful for the movement. Don't think of the body as a mechanical thing that should be moved correctly or incorrectly. Think instead that your thinking is what causes tension. This priest I had contact, his movement was graceful. He didn't have to say anything. Father Grigori in Greece. He just moved. He didn't have to say anything. It should be enough just with this gracious, soft movement. So you can put your hands together and begin the movement. Think freedom, happiness, and don't forget humor. We even got some humor out of Kelhofer. What was the most? Peru and Perusian. I think that was fun. So whenever you feel you're stiffening up, add humor to the whole thing, even though it's very hard to find humor down here in the cellar, in this rather a strange space we are at. We are actually presently in a, what is it called?
Courtroom,
Yeah, what is that in English? I don't know.
study room.
But it's also, it's safe against bombs. Shelter. We're down in the shelter. So now you bend at the hip. To bend at the hips, stop there for a second, sorry. Preserve your freedom, take this tension out here, think something happy, inclusive, think of a beach somewhere that you had nice memories with, think of people that make you happy, think of compassion, those things, and continue. Much better, it's much better. Now you're lengthening. Continue that. If you like, you can also turn your head left and right to check that for tension. Looking good. So Kalle is now doing the next movement in the Surya Namaskara. And this is a difficult situation where you're now at. The risk of tensioning is clear, but you should think direction through the whole back on the top of your skull. No matter where you hold the head, this is that's it. This is the direction you should think. So the freedom you can have whatever position you may take, but the direction always go all the way from the back out of the top of the head. You can continue there whenever you feel fit. It's just a matter of convenience, but you should actually lie down on the floor. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. Here is one of those stretching points. So add here width over the shoulders. The shoulders should be a bit more like this. Yeah. See if I can help you there. Where is the bending? Yeah, that's better. You do the same. Yeah. That means that you are helping in this position, you're widening. if you lock your elbow, it's a bit like locking the knees. Is that uncomfortable for you?
It's strange.
Yeah, but not too uncomfortable?
No.
No. I think you should do it like that and think a direction out of the elbow.
Mm.
Because if you lock your elbows, you already have tension. So we want softness here in the knees, and we want softness in the elbow as well. And you can continue from that. So continue to think freedom, length over the back, and think of a little droplet going over the nose of the ridge of the nose, sorry, and like a laughter in your neck. Don't get too serious. Humor is a good helping hand. I do like the saying of Paul Feyerabend, if it's not fun, it can't be true. I think that is one of the most profound truths there ever been. The left hemisphere truth is just seriousness and has very little to do with reality. So once you're coming up, let your hands free. They'll just hang. Yes, exactly. And continue to think freedom in the neck. Now when you're coming up, yeah, you have the freedom. Think of expansing. Don't get too serious. You've done this before, you know the drill. And use the hip joint now more and more. You can raise your legs a bit, that is that you sharpen the angle, make the angle a little bit less if you...
You mean how?
Like this, a bit more like that. So now you're using the hip joint a bit more. Very good. That's much better than number 8. And do look at the videos and compare them. I recommend that. Very good, very good. And of course, in this instance, the hands are pointy, but they can still be relaxed. So think of a direction going out of the fingertips, tips, and use that direction for the whole body. So this line, you can think of the whole body having that direction, up, up, and do relax the front of the head. No need for any tension there. And every time you do this in a more relaxed way, your thinking will become clearer. You can put when you put your hands together, yeah. And I will have you stop right there before you end. So add more width here and think that your arms are actually connected to the shoulders. The shoulders is being one bone connected to the arms. This part is not part of the back. This is the back that you lengthen so elegantly here and widen. That let the shoulders be on the move, in on the movement, sorry, in on the movement. Hard to pronounce, very much better. So let's see if you can flex in both ways. You see, there is this movement here in the shoulders. You can add that. So that will help you from over cramping. And see if you have this freedom here. Yeah, there we have it. It's much more accessible, this freedom now. Lengthening, widening. And if you have the focus enough, it's late in the afternoon, it's 5:30 here. You might also add a direction going from the big toe or somewhere in between the big toe and the second toe to that direction front. And you can continue to the end here and
Surya Namaskar.
And when you say Surya Namaskar, think of freedom. See,
Surya Namaskar.
if you can go from Surya Namaskar to maybe a bit.
Surya Namaskar.
Opposite, exactly. This is a training we call the whispered R, which we shan't do it today, but it's one of those manometers, or I would say compass, to know when we are absolutely relaxed. Now you can take your arms down. And you gain some flexibility. And I also see when you move, your body follows. So it's not disjunct like it was more like before, like the moving in different. But now there is one thing going after another, going after another, going after another. It's almost like a caterpillar. So that they are following each other. And this is what we want. See, I can find that freedom also if we sort of flex the knees a little bit and see if we can once more repeat. The idea of doing this boring exercise with the monk is to learn the hip joint. It's very hard to learn the hip joint while you're doing the yoga movement because you are otherwise occupied. Alexander called this a position of mechanical advantage. What hides behind this cumbersome and complicated phrase? Well, it's easier to find the hip joint in this. It's much easier because you have nothing else to think of. So that's one reason for this. If you go down a bit, and now I see if you lead with the head, think freedom here, openness, like that. Very good, very good. The balance is much better. Very good, Kalle, fantastic. Lengthening. And you can flex a little bit only that, and you bend a bit more. This is elegant, very elegant. Try a bit more up, very good. So although this, I can move your hands to this position. So although this might seem like a nonsensical little movement or exercise, it has great benefits. Learning the hip joint, you will at the same time learn how to be more open here, less stiff-necked. There is another Alexander teacher, McGowan something, I don't remember his full name. He said, spirituality comes when you open up the body. Modern man is much more tense than people used to be. We have never been so tensed. And the first thing that disappears is the spiritual life. It takes only a little neck tension and all these higher forms of thinking is gone. And this is one of the advantages. It's a practice for the soul. It's not a bodily practice at all, someone said. I think that was Walter Character. I'm not sure. Widening here and lengthening, and now I will take you out of the monkey. Preserve your yes, and think up, 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 up. So your head leads. Yes, much better, fantastic. Very good, Kalle. And we let your hand relax on the sides. So you see here the connection between the monkey, which is the pivotal thing in Surya Namaskara, and of course all other yoga movements. Even if you want to do this one, the bending is in the hip joint. So, and that will also train the freedom in the neck, the directionality of the neck. And I mentioned to Kalle previously, I participated in a lunch yoga somewhere in India many years ago. And I was astonished that business people who were smoking and were overweight were much more agile because they had this freedom in the neck. They had the balance, they never sort of stiffened up. Whereas training yoga soul will never liberate your body. You need that freedom first, and then you can do whatever you want within yoga. The sky's your limit. I think that was quite excellent. I think this is an absolute good point to end. I say thank you very much, Kalle Lundahl. Thank you for progressing. So happy to see. This is the 9th episode, and for every time you seem more happy as well, less serious. So let humor into your heart. Thank you everyone for listening and watching in. Bye bye for now.